Ramsay, and today I'm interviewing Patricia Mackenzie. You're watching HTV. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
How long have you been dancing?
I've been dancing for probably 64 years. Yes.
Why did you start?
I started as a child because my grandmother wanted me to dance, and so she paid for the lessons initially, and she wanted me to do Highland dancing because of our Scottish heritage.
Okay. Did you go in lots of competitions?
No, I didn't really. I did when I started in the Lower Mainland. There was a lot of competitions. But then when we moved to Nanaimo, there was nothing. And so my mom was instrumental in starting the Highland Dance Association in Nanaimo and making sure that there was regular competitions for the dancers.
Oh. Do you have any memories of the competitions?
I do. Yeah, they were always fun. And I remember one competition where the judge gave me the award and then said something about my smile. And I always remember her commenting on that. And I remember one competition where I got mustard on my sailor's hornpipe outfit, which was white, and being absolutely mortified because I knew my mom was going to just kill me because of the stain. But yeah, just little things like that from the competitions, and going to Vancouver and dancing at the Brockton Oval. That was a fun one.
Do you have any favorite dances?
I think that my favorite dances are the chanteuse, which is very balletic, as you know, and the Irish jig for the character. I always loved to do the jig.
What are some of the origins of the dances?
Well, Highland dancing, of course, started in the Highlands of Scotland, and it was usually men who did the dances. And so a lot of them are based on battles and fighting. And so like the sword dance, the warrior would dance over his opponent's sword to indicate he was the winner of the battle. So yeah, I think that's the origin for a lot of them.
What is your favorite part about Highland specifically?
About Highland, I like the activity of it. I like the jumping, because I've always loved to jump. And I like the opportunity to perfect movements over and over till it's as well done as it can possibly be. Yeah.
What are some challenges in Highland compared to others?
I think the same thing, that Highland dance requires a lot of repetition and going over movements to perfect them. And so I think that's a challenge for many people who want something to be different every single time they dance. And this is something that you repeat and perfect, and then and that's what takes you into competition successfully, really.
Do you have any tips for anyone wanting to start dance?
I think to just dance, to get into classes and enjoy the movement and throw yourself into it.
What are some other types of dance you know?
Well, I'm a ballet teacher and have been for many years. And I love ballet as well. And I love contemporary dance. So when I was the director of Dance Stream's Youth Dance Company, of course, I worked with a lot of choreographers and creative contemporary work. So I was responsible for rehearsing all of those works. So I do love contemporary work as well.
What is Dance Streams?
Dance Streams is a pre-professional youth dance company for Vancouver Island. And the company is a nonprofit registered charity and they draw dancers from all over Vancouver Island who want to come together in a professional company. And part of what Dance Streams does is commission professional works from some of the leading choreographers from across Canada. So the dancers that are in that company have huge benefits, especially if they're looking towards a professional career. And they come together every Sunday for 6 hours of rehearsals from September through May. And they also tour and perform very widely.
How would someone join Dance Streams?
There's an audition every year, and they're always looking for dancers. I retired from Dance Streams in 2020, but the company is still running, and they have an amazing artistic director in Julia Carr.
Wow. What made you decide to start teaching dance?
I kind of fell into it. I've always loved teaching, and even when I was a young girl, when I was 11, I taught all the neighborhood kids how to do Highland dancing. And one of them entered the dancing competition and won everything, so she did really well. And I helped my teacher as an assistant when I lived in Nanaimo. But when we moved to Port Alberni, there was no Highland dancing here. And I performed at Echo Centre for some community function. And afterwards, some people came to me and asked me if I would teach their children Highland dancing. And so I started with 9 students in my mom and dad's basement. And I just continued on from there.
How long have you been teaching?
This will be 53 years I've been teaching dancing.
Wow. What's your favorite part about teaching?
I think the people. I think the dancers, the children and adults that I get to meet. And I think when you're a dance teacher, you have a special connection, because you don't just teach people for a year or two as in a public school, right? You teach children from the time they're barely walking at 3 until they graduate and beyond. And so you have a long-lasting relationship with your pupils.
What's the hardest part about teaching?
I think sometimes the hardest part is to try to motivate someone who's determined not to be motivated. There's not too many people that are determined not to be, but sometimes someone will just get it into their head that, well, I can't do this, and they're going to fulfill that prophecy themselves. And so to try to show them that they are capable of anything that they really want to do, that's sometimes a challenge.
Do you have any fun stories from your time as a teacher?
Oh, so many, so many. I can't even think of one in particular, but yeah, there's a lot of funny stories.
A lot of dances we do are your choreographies. Like, how do you come up with ideas?
I don't know. They just seem to bubble up out of my head. Sometimes I have an idea of something I want to present, and a thought. But sometimes it's just the music that inspires me and gives me ideas of when I interpret the music.
Has anyone inspired you in your dance career?
Oh, so many people. So many people have been inspirational to me. Yeah. And so many students have, right? Because there are so many talented, bright people who have passed through the studio. So I love watching where they go and what they do in their lives.
Wow. What are some benefits of learning dance?
Oh, there's a lot of benefits in dance. Aside from the physical activity and stamina and strength, I think dance teaches people about self-discipline, about how to set goals and how to work towards them, how to work in a group, how to just be organized in their lives, right? Just to fit everything in and get it all done. And I think people that do dance often do very, very well in life because they've learned those skills from the classroom.
Have you done a lot of traveling for dance?
I have, particularly with Dance Dreams. I've done a lot of traveling. With the dance company, we were in China in 1994, and then we were in Los Angeles 3 times, Germany twice, Belgium, the Kootenays, Eastern Canada and the Maritimes. So we've done a lot of traveling with Dance Dreams.
What's your favorite place you've been?
I have to say China, because it was so extraordinary to be in China in 1994, and so different.
What were some fun things you did there?
Oh, we did a huge amount of performances, and of course, I think my favorite time was to walk on the Great Wall of China. Yeah.
Have you ever been to Scotland?
Yes, I've been to Scotland. I love Scotland, and I particularly love the Orkney Islands. And we often go there, and some of my ancestors came from the Orkney Islands, which is in the very, very north part of Scotland, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Why the Orkney Islands?
Well, some of my ancestors came from there because they worked in the fur trade with the Hudson's Bay Company, and they did a lot of hiring of Scots people to work in the fur trade because they thought that they were tough physically.
Okay. There was a hurricane one year when you were traveling with dancers. So what did you do?
Oh, well, we were in Halifax, and it wasn't that long ago. We were there with Highland dancers for the Scottish Dance Teachers Alliance North American Conference. And several of our dancers were nominated to attend. So to get nominated, you have to do exceptionally well in your theory and Highland dance exams. And then the examiner has the option to nominate to attend this conference. And so we had several dancers nominated, and so we were determined to go. The conference alternates between Canada and the US and the East Coast and the West Coast. So that year was Halifax. And so we got down there, and then the hurricane hit right after. But we were really fortunate in the fact that the hotel that we were in was in an area that was really close to all the essential services. And so it was the only place in the entire area that had power. And so it didn't really affect us. We had power for all of the events that we were dancing at and for our meals and everything. So it was all good.
Do you have any other stories about your trips?
No, we've been in so many different places. When I was in Germany the first time, I took a nasty fall. I tripped on some broken pavement and smashed up my face. So I ended up in all kinds of different hospitals till they could find someone to look after my teeth. And then we were doing performances, and somebody was coming from the Canadian Embassy to our performance, and I had to greet these people, and I looked like I'd done a few rounds with Rocky. I looked terrible. I was all covered in bruises, and it was awful.
Were you still able to do dance and stuff?
Oh yes, we carried on, and it just wasn't very pleasant.
So you used to live in Winnipeg, so.
I was born in Winnipeg. I never actually lived there for very long. My parents brought me out to the West Coast as a baby, and so I really lived my whole life on the West Coast of BC.
Have you ever been to it since then?
Yes, lots and lots of times I've gone back to Winnipeg because we had family still there, and also I'm keen on doing genealogy, and particularly our ancestors that were with the fur trade. So the Hudson's Bay Company archives are in Winnipeg, so I've often gone just to go there.
What are some of your favorite parts about Winnipeg?
I'm not sure that I could really say, because when I'm there, it's such a limited time, and I always have some other purpose to be there. But I do remember the lilacs in the spring and the aroma of the lilacs.
What's your favorite part about Port Alberni?
I think the people. I think this is a wonderful community where people are so friendly. And of course I love being close to the inlet and close to the lakes and the mountains, and we're very fortunate to have all this beautiful scenery around us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching HTV. I'm Heather Ramsay. See you next time.